This story is titled, Could My Ghosted Ex-Wife Be Trying to Find Me? Hi, everyone. Before we dive a quick favor. If you enjoy content like this, please hit the subscribe button. It is free, supports the channel, and make sure you never miss out on amazing video. Alright, let us get started. Is my ghosted ex-wife trying to track me down? When I found out my wife was cheating, I took off for the hills. I don't really know why I'm putting all this down now, but maybe now that some time has passed and I've had a chance to move on, it might help someone else out there who's going through something similar. It all started back in February of 2018. We had been married for just over 3.5 years when I discovered she was having an affair. I was working on a contract job at the time, one that had me traveling pretty often. But when I wasn't on the road, I worked from home. My wife had a high-powered job as a director at a technical sales firm. By most standards, we had a solid marriage. At least, that's how I saw it. Sure, things had gotten a little tense lately, probably from all the traveling I was doing and the longer hours she kept pulling at work. To give you some background, I met her about 5 years ago at a friend's barbecue. We hit it off right away. There was this instant spark between us. Honestly, I felt like I'd hit the jackpot. She was sharp, beautiful, well-spoken, and somehow into me, a guy who'd always felt a little rough around the edges. We started dating a few weeks after that, and from then on, we couldn't get enough of each other. Every time we met at one of our apartments, the clothes came off before the door even closed. We were wrapped up in each other. After 1.5 years of dating, we tied the knot and moved into a spacious apartment while saving up for a house. The first 3 years of our marriage were pretty smooth. I was still head over heels for her. But somewhere along the way, things started to shift. She started picking fights over small stuff, and I could feel the tension rising every time I brought up her late nights and endless work events. She'd always say that paying her dues was part of climbing the corporate ladder. That was her go-to explanation. And if I questioned her too much, she'd snap back and tell me I had no right. After all, I was the one gone for weeks at a time. I tried telling her I had already cut way back on traveling. I was only gone maybe 3 or 4 days every 5 weeks. But every time I tried to bring that up, it just circled back into another argument with no end and no solution. Looking back now, I had no clue she was deep into an affair. I didn't see it coming at all, other than her being constantly tired, working late, and the fact that our sex life had basically vanished. I just figured she was exhausted. I chalked it up to stress. What I didn't expect was how hard it hit my pride every time I tried to initiate and she turned me down. I didn't see any shady texts or flirty messages, the kind of stuff people usually catch. But then again, she had a work phone, and she spent a lot of time holed up in our spare bedroom, which doubled as her home office. Around September 2017, something changed. She started coming home from work, grabbing a quick bite, then heading right back out to some work-related function or happy hour. At first, it was once a week. Then it became 3, sometimes 4 nights a week. I'm not really the jealous type, but I'm not clueless either. I knew a woman like her, smart, driven, attractive, was bound to draw attention. And the fact that she worked mostly with male executives? That didn't exactly ease my mind. My first real suspicion came about a month before D-Day. She stopped at the store after work and asked me to help bring in the groceries. While I was grabbing a few bags from the back seat of her car, I spotted something pink tucked under the passenger seat. It was one of her bras. I recognized it right away. She had a preference for a certain brand, and this one was definitely hers. The second I saw it, my stomach dropped. It didn't make sense. What was her bra doing under the front seat of her car? And then it hit me. When she got in the mood, she always had this habit of slipping her bra off underneath her clothes first. Always. I felt this sick, heavy feeling in my chest. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I left the bra where it was and brought the bags inside, trying to keep it together. When I walked into the kitchen, she looked at me and asked if I was okay, said I looked like I'd seen a ghost. I brushed her off, told her I was fine. Inside, I was anything but. That night, and the next one too, I started putting things together, looking for clues, signs, anything. Up to that point, I had no hard proof, just that damn bra. We lived in a big city, and her office was downtown. There was plenty of room to hide something. For a little while, I tried to shift my thinking. Maybe I just needed to show her more affection, be more present. So the next Friday, I decided to do something nice. I cooked a full dinner, laid out the good plates, lit a few candles. I picked up a nice bottle of wine and even brought home a bouquet of roses. When she walked through the door that evening, I pointed to the table and told her I had made us dinner. She gave me this half-hearted smile and said she was sorry, but she already had plans to meet her coworkers at a bar. Said she could eat a little with me if she showered first. Something inside me broke right then. I was stunned. I couldn't even speak. I was so angry I could barely think. While she was in the shower, I grabbed my company phone and slipped it into the back seat of her car. I'd been thinking about tracking her for a while, and this seemed like the moment to act. Then I went back inside, dumped the whole dinner in the trash, and tossed the flowers after it. She came out of the shower, all dressed up and looking amazing, and said, "Okay, let's eat." I just stared at her and said, "Don't bother. Go hang out with your friends." She gave me a weird look and asked if I was mad. I told her I was disappointed. Told her it felt like she never wanted to spend time with me anymore. She rolled her eyes and said I was acting like a child, making some snarky comment about my short temper. I just stood there, letting it all sink in. "Foolish me," I said. "I thought maybe you'd want to spend a night together for once." She smirked and walked out without another word. As soon as she was gone, I pulled out my personal phone and started tracking the company phone I'd planted in her car. She drove about 20 minutes and stopped at a bar she mentioned before, a place she liked to go with her coworkers. I decided to drive over, parked across the street, and waited. I felt ridiculous, like a full-on stalker, but the anxiety was killing me. I just needed to know. After an hour, I saw her step out of the bar with a man. He looked familiar, probably one of the guys from her office. He pulled her close, and then he kissed her. My stomach turned. My hands went cold. They got into a car together, and I followed them from a distance. About 10 minutes later, they pulled into a hotel parking lot. I parked nearby, heart pounding. They got out, held hands, and walked inside. That was it. I slammed my fist into the steering wheel over and over until I felt completely hollow. My mind just shut down. I don't know if I blacked out or what. When I came to, I needed a drink. And that's where everything changed. My whole life started moving in a direction I never could have predicted. As I sat there drowning in thoughts, the pain twisting in my chest, I came to a clear decision. I needed out of this marriage. I didn't feel the need to tell Kathy how I felt right away. Instead, I quietly started making moves behind the scenes. Little by little, while she was at work, I began gathering my belongings and taking them over to the trailer. It wasn't much, just things that mattered: clothes, personal items, work stuff. But doing it made me feel like I was finally taking control. Funny thing was, I noticed Kathy started being a bit nicer to me during that time. A little more cheerful, more polite. But in my head, it was too late. Way too late. She was still heading out for her work events several nights a week. Same as always. One night, as she was getting ready to go out again, I decided to get dressed too. She looked at me and asked, "Where are you going?" I just shrugged and told her I was meeting up with some friends. When she asked who, I gave her the same line she'd used on me for years: "You don't know them, and honestly, you wouldn't enjoy all the shop talk." That shut her up real quick. I could see a flicker of something in her eyes, maybe hurt or confusion, but she just nodded and said, "Okay, have fun." I told her I planned to. Between working on fixing up the trailer and hanging out at the bar with Ray and some of his people, I had started building a little social circle again. Ray's friends and family were a good bunch, solid folks, no drama. And for the record, I made a decision early on to keep my drinking in check. It would have been easy to spiral, but I wasn't going to let this situation ruin me. Around that time, Kathy mentioned she had a business trip the following week. I asked her who was going. She rattled off a few names: executives, department heads, the usual. I looked her right in the eye and said, "Well, I hope you and your boyfriend have a great time." I kind of regretted saying it immediately because it blew up into another round of arguing, but I don't take it back. I said what I felt. I didn't know who the other guy was, and honestly, part of me wanted to know more. But Ray had told me something that stuck. It doesn't matter who he is, brother. What matters is she chose to betray you. She wrecked the marriage, not him. She can deny it, own it, or lie through her teeth, but it's on her. I swear, Ray should write a damn book for people going through this. Her little trip gave me the perfect window to finish moving out. The day she left, I gathered everything I had left that meant anything to me. No furniture, no shared junk, just clothes, gear, and my work stuff. At first, I'd written out a long note explaining myself, but after rereading it, I ripped it up. I didn't owe her an explanation. Instead, I grabbed a fresh piece of paper and scribbled 5 words. Hope it was worth it. I placed the note on the kitchen table and set my wedding ring right on top of it. And just like that, I felt a massive weight lift off my shoulders. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. I knew I still had healing to do. There'd be emotional scars. But now I had space. And peace. and I was going to get her out of my life as cleanly and quietly as possible. No, I never got a big blow-up or screamed at her for what she did. No final confrontation. I didn't pull a tearful confession out of her. In my mind, she didn't deserve the satisfaction. She threw away everything we'd planned together, saving for a house, maybe starting a family someday. All of that was gone now. Just dust. There was no going back. And I didn't owe her a damn thing. Let her deal with the wreckage. Aftermath. I didn't rush to call a lawyer or make a game plan. I just wanted to breathe, clear my head. That little trailer in the hills was turning into the best decision I'd ever made. I started running again, hitting the trails, letting the mountain air do its thing. It reminded me I was still alive. While Kathy was away on her work trip, I didn't respond to a single message. Most of them weren't anything important, just landed, dinner with the team, stuff like that. Then came a few, "Where are you?" and "Let me know you're okay." But I didn't bite. The day she got home, my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. Text after text, call after call. By the next morning, her mother was trying to reach me too. Thankfully, I didn't have much family left, just my dad. And we're not close, so there wasn't anyone else to drag into it. After a couple of voicemails with her crying, I stopped listening. Her texts turned desperate. "What is this? We need to talk." "You're wrong. I'm not seeing anyone." Then, after about a week of me ignoring her, she finally cracked. She sent a message that read, "I'm sorry. Things got out of hand. I was involved with someone at work, but it didn't mean anything. I made a mistake. I was going to end it." A mistake? A year-long mistake? That was the confession I'd been waiting for, and it didn't even feel good. If anything, it made me resent her more. She couldn't even be honest when the truth was staring her in the face. This wasn't the woman I had built a future with. This wasn't who I'd married. And mistakes don't drag out for 6 to 8 months. Eventually, her begging started to turn pitiful. She kept pleading for another chance to work on things. I kept ignoring her. She finally stopped for a bit. But then the angry texts started rolling in. "You're a coward. You won't even face me. You don't care about us. And finally, please come home so we can talk. Tell me where you are. Damn it, Paul, let's fix this." I lost track of the messages. They all sounded the same. Excuses, blame shifting, and almost no genuine apology. I finally changed my number. Update, June 2018. Kathy sent me an email saying she'd hired a lawyer and was filing for divorce. I replied with 4 words. "Okay, sounds good. Thanks." That triggered another avalanche of emails, demanding I come talk to her in person, meet up, explain myself. Eventually, she realized none of it was going to work. She offered to make it an uncontested divorce if I'd just agree and not cause any trouble. I agreed. A few months later, it was all official. I was free. I never had to see her again after I left that apartment. There was no closure, but I didn't need it. I think that was more important to her than to me, anyway. For a few months, yeah, I still thought about her. And sometimes, a memory would hit out of nowhere, like a song we used to like, or a place we used to go. But it passed. I'm officially divorced. And life is good. I met someone new, unexpectedly, like these things usually happen. I was out for a run on a trail near my place when I spotted a woman with a flat tire. I offered to help. She's beautiful, smart, funny as hell, maybe a few years younger than me, but that doesn't matter. She calls me her mountain man. I'm not in any rush to settle down again, but I haven't given up on women, either. I'm still living up in the trailer, still enjoying the simple life. It's stripped away all the noise. Being out here has healed me in ways I didn't even realize I needed. The fresh air, the silence, the space. It pulled me out of the wreckage and helped me rebuild from the inside out. Everyone heals in their own way. This was mine. I'm grateful we didn't have kids, and that we were only a few years into our marriage when it all blew up. That made it easier to walk away. But if you're going through something like this, if you've been betrayed, please hear me. You don't have to stay. You don't have to tolerate a cheater. You can move on. Work on yourself. Build your life back, piece by piece. And don't look back. It gets better. I wish the best for everyone out there trying to find peace again. My ex-wife found me, but I shut it down. I've rewritten this a handful of times just to make it clear, but I figured it was time to give an update about the situation with my ex-wife. A while back, I had this nagging suspicion that she was trying to find me, maybe to make amends, maybe to pull me back in. So I put some space between us. Moved over 2 hours away from where we used to live. Started over in my own quiet corner of the world. Then it happened. Last weekend, I saw her. She walked into a coffee shop I go to pretty often, the one in the small town near my place. It felt too convenient to be random. Luckily, I spotted her before she saw me, and I slipped out the door before anything could happen. But that wasn't the end of it. Fast forward to this past weekend. I was back in town for groceries and stopped at the same coffee shop to finish up some paperwork using their Wi-Fi. Nothing unusual until I left. As I walked to my truck, I heard someone shout, "Paul." I turned my head, and there she was. Kathy, my ex, waving across the street like we were old friends. And just like that, it felt like the sky dropped. I froze. She ran across the street, reaching out like she expected a hug. I instinctively put my palms up, keeping my distance. She stopped in her tracks, clearly hurt. She said, "Paul, I've been looking for you. I heard you moved out here. I just wanted to see you. Can we talk?" I felt like a caged animal. Really, I did. But I told myself, all right, let's at least hear her out. I agreed to chat, but made it clear we weren't going back to my place. We found a bench near the end of the block. She immediately started laying it on thick, complimenting how I looked, going on about my beard, my shape, my whole new look. She noticed everything, said I looked fit, even said she liked my mountain man style. She knew exactly what she was doing, trying to reel me in with charm and nostalgia. She had on these little white shorts and a tank top, her hair tied up in a ponytail, just like I used to love. It was all carefully curated, but my radar was up. I stayed alert. Then she started apologizing, said karma had chewed her up after I left, that her company found out about the affair, and things got so uncomfortable she ended up quitting. Her affair partner, turns out he had a fiancé, got disciplined and transferred. He blamed her for everything. She retaliated by telling his fiancé the truth, which led to them breaking up. She hung her head and started to cry. I didn't say anything, just looked around, silent. Then she looked up at me. I asked her what she wanted from me. She said she never meant for it to happen, that she was swept up in office politics and pressure, and that the guy had manipulated her with his position and charisma. She convinced herself she was using him, too, in some twisted balance of power. But deep down, she felt like garbage about it. She told me the drinking, the late nights, all of it. That was her numbing the guilt. Said she was going to come clean after I confronted her, but I left before she could. That after I disappeared, her heart collapsed under the weight of it. She immediately ended things with the guy, claimed she couldn't stand how broken she felt, and now she just wanted to fix what we had, start fresh. She knew we were divorced, but she wanted a clean slate, a second chance. I just stared at her. Then I let her have it. I'm paraphrasing here, but the gist of what I said went something like this. You think you can just show up and wipe the slate clean? Like none of it happened? Like I'm supposed to forget everything you did? I told you, if you ever cheated on me, we were finished. There is no forgiveness. No reboot. You killed what we had the moment you stepped out on me. I saw you walk into that hotel. I followed you that night. Did you know that? I noticed my voice had gotten loud. People were starting to glance our way. She started sobbing, grabbed my arm. I let her cry for a moment on my shoulder, then gently pushed her away. I know I deserve this, she said through her tears. I do. But can I at least take you to dinner? I want to talk more. I want to make sure everything's out in the open. You didn't give me the chance before. Please, Paul. I love you. I didn't realize how much until you left. I broke your heart, and you broke mine too. She was hyperventilating, crying hard. I pulled her up and gave her a hug, not because I forgave her, but because she needed to calm down. And in that moment, it hit me. I did break her heart, just like she broke mine. We walked together for a bit, found a quiet path. Things settled. I asked how she found me, if she hired a private investigator or something. She chuckled and said no, though she thought about it. Said she ran into Stacy, and when she asked about me, Stacy let it slip that she'd seen me out here. Kathy pushed for details until she got them. All she knew was the town, so she started showing up on her days off, hoping to run into me. I shook my head. Classic Stacy, couldn't keep a secret if her life depended on it. Eventually, we did go to dinner. Sat on a patio at a quiet place. I made sure we kept it dry, no alcohol. I didn't want anything clouding the night or giving her an excuse. We had a decent conversation. She opened up. I listened. Afterward, I walked her to her car. She didn't want to leave. Told me she hadn't been with anyone since I left. Said I was the only man she wanted. Begged to stay the night. I told her no. It was too soon. Too raw. She pressed for another meeting. I was vague. Gave her my new email, but refused to hand over my phone number. She cried when I said no to that. She told me she'd be back in town next weekend, if I was willing to meet. Said she'd email me with the details. Before she left, I asked her something direct. If I had cheated, would you forgive me? She sat there thinking. Then she said yes. With counseling. With long talks. Maybe even a legal agreement for boundaries. I said, maybe in 5 or 10 years I could do something like that. She said she'd wait. Then she grabbed my hands, looked into my eyes, and said, God damn it, Paul. I will always love you, and I'll do anything to prove it. Then she left, and I was left rattled. She meant it. I could see it in her eyes. But even after all that, I still couldn't picture myself going back to her. Not even as friends with benefits. Maybe just as a friend. But that's a long shot. Call me what you want, but second chances don't come easy with me. That night, I went for a long run. Had a couple beers. Sat by the fire. And you know what? I felt at peace. But deep down I kept asking, could she mess this up for me again? I don't know. It's all too fresh. But the good news is, I've got time. Time to think. To get perspective. So here's the final update. I posted this whole story on Reddit, but the mod kept taking it down. To sum it all up, my ex-wife found me. We talked. After more than a year of silence from me, she came to reconcile. Try again. Start fresh. To everyone who messaged me saying I'd fall for it, go full blue pill and take her back. You're going to be disappointed. She sent a long email this week. Told me how much she regretted the affair. That she loved me. That she wanted to spend a weekend out here, reconnecting. I shut her down. I'm living a quiet, peaceful life up here. I've been enjoying my freedom. I've met a few great women. Made new friends. I'm 32 and not in a rush for anything. I've got my own path now, and I'm sticking to it. I didn't give her my number. I replied to her email with a firm no. No reconciliation. No restart. She made her choice. I don't trust her anymore. And honestly, I don't know who she is anymore. I wished her well. Told her maybe we could be friends someday. Maybe. That reply frustrated her. She wrote back with something surprising. She'd accepted a job several states away. And her real plan was to convince me to come with her. Since my job is remote, she thought we could move, start fresh together in a brand new place. She had a short window before her move and was hoping to see me again and give me the hard sell. Lucky for me, I had to leave for work. Timing saved me again. She'll be out of my life for good now. Maybe she'll send a few more emails. But eventually, she'll understand. Her time with me is over. She'll have to find someone else to rebuild her fantasy with. And maybe, just maybe, she'll cheat on him too. So to anyone reading this, here's what I'll say. Live your best life. Drop the dead weight. Empower yourself to move forward. You don't owe anyone who betrayed you a second chance. Heal, grow, and don't look back. Good luck out there.